Hello, myself Sunil Ramkrishnan. Basically, today we are going to talk about the topic that is basically Formula World, and this is 113 part basically. Here, in last basically we were discussing about the careers of the software industries people basically who can select which firm, which careers, and each and everything basically we were discussing, and basically and last basically we had just discussed the company related to company owner basically. So we here basically will be discussing few points related to company owner, CEO and vice president. So CEO and vice president basically, for example, I will take one example. Uh, one text box to create one text box and the combo box basically it require 2 to 3,000 cities, right? This is basically a normal thing, no? But CEO and vice president knows this that text box is created from the text um, is created from the 3,000 cities, and this project is going to contribute how much in the text box equal to 1,000 cities. That basically CEO and vice president knows basically. For example, this project is ongoing, and this project is going to contribute to which area basically, which objects basically. It might possible that this project might contribute to check boxes. This might possible that this project is going to contribute to text boxes. This might project is it's possible that it might possible that this project might be contributing the radio buttons. It might be possible that this project is contributing to text box. It might be possible that this project is going to contribute to combo box. So this all information only CEO and vice president level people have basically. They know each and every physical places also where this project is going to contribute, and how this, if this is project is going to be converted to energies basically, then they know that which energy in which area basically this energy, this software energy is going to be used, in which human needs basically this is going to be used. If it's going to be used in a physical location, then in which physical city location basically this project is going to use. So each and every information project CEO and vice president basically have, company CEO and vice president. Then what is the what are the things basically that company owner and the government only knows. This is basically very critical thing basically. The information which company owners and the company software company owner and the government knows. That is basically everybody knows that each and every object in this world, repeating the word, that is basically each and every object in this world which is which object is used by the human people basically. That is basically the all objects which is used by the human, that are basically getting converted to lights basically. That is called basically prakash, basically prakash, the lights basically which you see. And everybody knows that basically there is no like sun and moon. It's basically just a light effect, and the shape is given basically by the universe group basically. That universe group only know basically there is no like sun and moon. It's just a light effect. So that light creation which is getting darker, which is getting brighter and brighter, that contribution basically earth planet each and every object have to give, has to give basically, and is supposed to give in one time basically. So whatever object basically, for example, there is one stone basically, or there is one tree basically, that is going to contribute one day a light, whether it take 1,000 years, whether it is going to take 2,000 years, but it is going to contribute light in one day only. That is 100% sure. So the each and every object which is each and every object basically, when that is going to convert a light basically, when that is going to give a light to that main light basically, that is basically the sun moon effect, light effect basically, that is basically created from set of lights, set of um, lights basically, you can say set of prakash basically, we can say set of spark. With spark basically it can't be said, but light is the perfect word basically, you can say. So basically, the contribution in the light basically. um, what is going to be contribution, the software basically which the software company is creating, how much contribution basically the software is going to give to that light basically. That is basically a sun moon light effect basically, which basically daily basically, the earth planet see basically, and evening time basically it's converted to moon basically. That is basically also light effect basically. So in that basically, how much contribution this software is going to give, that only software company owner and the government only knows basically. So this is the basically major effect, major difference between CEO, vice president, and company's owner and the government basically. And government and company owner basically, there are also basically difference are there. How much light is going to be fetched at what time, each and every basically data basically that government only have basically. This is like that basically in school basically. We in school science in science school basically, that is basically science subject in school basically. Each and every formula basically are there, but it's not a full formula basically. There basically government formula is required. Government adds their formula that is basically hidden, and that attracts automatically when the chemical effect is calculated basically. So basically government keeps basically, you can say that also, that hidden basically data in the each and every lab basically, that also you can say. So this is basically just about the school lab basically. So in the real life basically, how many R&D centers are there, how many research centers are there? Just see the ISRO, NASA, that is also there. That is also basically controlled by big governments basically, you can say. So like basically each and every things basically where government is connected, they basically keeps their control always. So basically nobody knows that in science subject basically whatever formula which you are using, that is basically incomplete. So the full formula basically, that is basically plus government formula, that basically you have to add. So that is basically one of the list basically, you can say, which government have. And that basically it's a secret basically, you can say. That only basically is with the government dictionary book basically, you can say. And that basically it's very difficult to find also, because if you find also by chance you got that dictionary also, then also basically it's a real time basically. In real time basically the data basically are with the nuclear companies and energy companies and power companies basically. And that basically only knowledgeable people only know, can do basically. If you get that book also, then also basically it's worthless basically. Why? Because the real time data basically, that is basically it is at nuclear plant and power companies and energy companies basically. There basically it's highly technical, highly basically educated people only can do basically. Which formula basically is going to attract which energy from the nuclear plant, energy plant, and power plant. That basically only and knowledgeable people only knows basically. So that is basically like that basically. That is totally different part, different topic basically. Here basically we were discussing the software company owner, basically how much they knows basically. So normal things basically CEO and vice president knows. That is basically in this software basically is going to be used in where basically, in text box, in combo box, radio button, check boxes, buttons in the forms basically where this um, um, software is going to be used. That is basically normal thing for the CEO and vice president basically, because they are earning more than crores rupees um, in the salary basically. So basically these all are the basically the normal things, and the responsibility of the basically overall basically, you can say, of the text boxes each and every. So basically Earth Planet software companies property is what? These are all the properties, that is text box, combo box, check boxes, radio buttons, then list menus are there, forms are there. These all are the properties of the software companies. But in real basically, that physical locations are the main property basically. Yes. That many less people knows the address of each. And for example, anybody says that where is the combo box equal to 2000 cities. So to find that 2000 cities, that is very difficult task basically, you can say. And if you by chance got the information of the 2000 city, then what you will do? You tell. You can't do anything, because the 2000 cities are controlled totally by the nuclear plant energy companies and the power companies, and to reach to that location basically it's impossible, because where that in sea level basically where that nuclear plant is there, that also nobody knows basically. It's a secret basically, you can say. It's very difficult to track also basically. That's why and basically in government people also many less people knows basically where this 2000 cities of the equal to text box basically, where is the nuclear plant, where is the energy plant basically. So to track up to this location also it's very difficult. By chance you got the 2000 city address basically, by chance you got the 2000 city address from the government basically, by giving some money whatever basically you got that, then what you will do? You can't do anything. Nothing you can. You can change the stories basically of the 2000 cities. Then also there is no use basically, because the each and every stories are also controlled by the nuclear plant and the energy companies and the power companies basically. So there is basically no meaning of the finding the 2000 cities basically. And if you get that data, then basically you might have achieved something. That also you can say basically, because that is the main data basically. But it's controlled by, if anybody says that yeah, the 2000 cities are controlling the text box and text box is controlled by this 2000 city, then basically 100% it can't be correct basically. Why? Because the most of data are controlled by the nuclear plant, energy plant, and by the nuclear company basically, and the power companies, energy companies basically. They have the each and every controls of the each and every human body basically. That also you can say. They exactly know basically. For example, myself, Sunil Ramakrishnan Nair, in basically my body is how many parts are damaged, that basically nuclear power company knows each and every. For example, my hand is not my hand is little bit getting problem. Sometimes basically it gets problem, so that problem basically the nuclear plant and power company knows basically. Why? Because they have the each and every body structure information of the power plant basically, sorry, for the human basically. So if, for example, there are 200 crore human basic 200 crore the population of the India, so they have the each and every exact data structure of the each and every human basically. So just see up to the level basically the information nuclear power company and the, even basically the blood company basically who are telling that we have the entire information. They also might be shocked basically that up to the level basically the nuclear power companies and the power, even the World Bank no don't, World Bank also don't have the correct information, but the nuclear power plant and the energy companies and the power plant basically they have the exact address basically. So this is this all information basically the world owner, the software company owner basically they know that how many contribution you are going to give to the light when the software is going to be converted to the energies basically. That information, if by chance it's going, basically software company owner knows basically why the software is getting prepared, in what purpose basically the software is getting prepared. So for that information, the software company owner only has basically. So how much energy basically, how much power basically, how much light basically is going to contribute by the software, which is software energy which is going to be created, which is going to be converted to software energy after a certain time basically. So that data basically how much contribution of power, how much contribution of light, how much contribution of energy to the main universe basically you can say is going to be contributed by the software company, the software energy. That data basically only the company won't have. This information basically the product, the company CEO and vice president basically don't have. They, the software company and the vice president and the um, CEO basically they only have the information that this product basically which we are creating, that is going to be used in text box, or basically it might be getting used in combo box, it might be getting used in checkbox, it might be getting used in radio buttons basically, wherever basically it might be decided by the company owner. So according to that basically the product is going to be used basically. So this is about the 113 part. In 114 basically we are going to discuss a little bit more about the software companies on up to what level the information companies have.